So today I want to talk to you about buying a property that has been flipped and the horrors that can happen, mainly things that you can't see. I'm standing in a property that we had purchased from an investor that was mid-flip. And as part of the deal, because we wanted to close on this home this year, and because of the current backlog on windows, we were okay with actually closing on this property and having the windows installed later, because quite honestly, we didn't know when the windows or the order was even gonna show up. It could have been several weeks. We wanted to get this closing into this year for some tax advantages. But I wanna show you this property. They're here now actually doing some construction, and just by chance, I happened to stop by because I was like, you know what, let me just go check out what they're doing installing the windows. And I also need to prep this for a tenant that is gonna be moving in really about 4 or 5 days. So a little bit of a mishap. The windows that were supposed to be installed, like only two of them came in and were broken. So those are still gonna be a couple of weeks out. So they were supposed to be installing the remaining of the windows, cleaning everything up. So I was stopping by to say, hey, what else do I need to do to button up in this property for the rental or the turnover that we're gonna do in a couple of days? And I want you to check out these windows, and I want you to check out what I just found, and then we're gonna talk about it. So here are the current windows right here that were installed. As you can see, they're pretty ugly. They're actually the original windows, solid wood, which to be quite honestly are not bad as far as aesthetic if you cleaned them up, but not operational. So the person decided as part of the deal that they were gonna flip this house is they were gonna put in all brand new windows, which we love because it just helps out something and saves us money. Walked in this property, and I'll let you guys look at this here for a second, but what do you see as an issue? Well, if you guessed it, the first thing I thought of is like, man, this is a lot of construction. I'm supposed to have a tenant coming in the next 5 days. How are they gonna clean all this up? You know, put the extra trim around here in the edges, caulk it, paint it, and do all that kind of drywall in time? Well, things can happen. This might be a day or 2 day job. But what I noticed is when I came in here was this right here. And if you look, you'll notice these large gaps. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not how windows are supposed to be put in. A window should be sitting tight to this. So what should be happening, you can kind of look down here a little bit more. You can see this wood that's sitting right here, and you can see the gap that's sitting between this, okay? This window needs to be built up. There should be another 1x4, 2x4, whatever the spacing needs to be. So this window sits tight against this wood. And on this side, this gap shouldn't be here as well. There should be wood here. So this should be completely framed out with the window sitting nicely in that hole. And as you can tell, they're not doing that. What they did is because the windows didn't fit, he actually shimmed them up, and this little screw and the screw there is what's holding that window in. So what they've done is they've actually then come in here and they put in this insulation, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, when it rains and the water comes in, you know what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with that insulation? Yeah, you bet so. It's gonna just obviously soak up. You're gonna have mildew issues, mold issues, major, major, major problem. So I want to take you over and look at this bedroom because it's even actually worse. When I come in here, if you look at this particular property, look at this. This window doesn't even fit, not even closely. It's the complete wrong size for this particular hole. Look at that, I can stick basically my whole hand and have a party up there. Look how big of the gap is. What are they gonna do with that? Well, they were just gonna go ahead and fill that with insulation. Absolutely no. Now let me go show you the way a window should look, because the bathroom window is still here. If you check out this, see how this wood is? See how this frame is tight? They're usually like a 1x4 here. And I don't know what this is. This is just kind of like a smaller piece of wood. You see how they framed up all around the edges, and then they put the window, which is actually this piece in here with just a plane of glass, but they framed it. See how it's tight? See there's like no big gaps that are in here? There's a little bit of gap here, but again, this is all framed that's in there. There's no air. If I push on this, there's no air around there, all right? Obviously, big issue. Zoom that in a little better, but definitely is not gonna have those major gaps like that you're gonna see around the rest of the windows. So there's a couple of lessons that we can learn from this particular video. The first one is don't buy a property and don't book a person into it until it's completely done. That's probably on our side. I knew the windows were gonna come in. They were supposed to be in on the 29th. Our tenant was gonna move into on the 12th. Normally, if we were flipping that house with our crew, we would be in on the 29th, out maybe on the 1st, not a big deal. It's a 2-day job, in and out, no big deal. We could have flipped this over and been the 12th, had a lower vacancy and just been renting it, no problem. However, we were relying on a supply chain that's a little bit rocky right now and a contractor that we don't know about. We thought Home Depot was putting it in. At least that's what I thought, because he said the windows are coming from Home Depot. When I saw this, I realized Home Depot ain't putting in these windows, not like that. No, no, no. So he's having his own contractor, which is probably just means like a handyman or something like that. So when you're going to closings, you know, you can buy houses that aren't 100% complete to get the good deal, take them off the market, which is what we did. We bought this off market. But honestly, if you're a new investor, you should definitely only be buying something that's complete. The secondary to that, and a big caution, is something we don't normally do. And I'll do a video here after this on why we purchased this property, but you don't really want to buy a flipped property. If you find an old property that's been there for, you know, I don't know, it's built in like the 60s or 70s or something like that, and you can tell because you can look at the listing, you can see that it was just purchased, let's say a month ago, so you can tell that someone bought it, they renovated the whole thing, and now it's back on the market 30, 60, 90 days later. That's a flip, folks. The reason why you don't want to buy flips is for this reason whatsoever. This reason right here. If I was to come into this property and purchase this without seeing that, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, or even a month down the road, I could have major issues, and I've already purchased the property. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. So I'd highly caution you, unless you're super experienced, don't buy flip properties, because by the nature of them, the person's going in and they're doing whatever they can to basically slap some lipstick on it. You know, like over here, you know, paint the rocks white, put, you know, a little bit of gray flooring and paint the walls gray, make it look like it's the new modern thing. But really what they're doing is they're covering up all kinds of defects. And you want to be careful with that, and it can cost you a lot of money. So first, again, recap, rule number 1, only buy properties that are complete. Don't put stuff in the contract of, hey, they're going to promise you something later down the road. Only rely on the people and contractors that you know. And secondary to that, greatly avoid or caution you to not buy flip properties, because this is the type of stuff that we see all day long. This is the type of stuff we're fixing as a property management company. Very bad things, just hidden lipstick, you know, on a pig kind of things. And you don't want to buy in a property, have this be your investment, and have to go spend $5,000, maybe even $10,000 fixing something after closing.